June 5th, 1944. It is the eve of D-Day, the day that will decide the fate of Europe. For months, Allied forces have prepared for the largest amphibious invasion in history, Operation Overlord. Now, after endless planning, secrecy, and delay, the waiting is almost over. In less than 24 hours, the Western Allies will return to the continent of Europe to begin the liberation of Nazi-occupied France. Across southern England, tension fills the air. Every airfield, every road, every tent city is alive with activity. Men of the airborne divisions make their final checks. Parachutes, weapons, maps, rations. The invasion has already been postponed once because of bad weather, and no one is certain it will go ahead tonight. But inside the Allied command, a final decision has been made. The Supreme Commander, General Dwight D. Eisenhower, has just approved the order to proceed. The invasion will begin tonight. At around midday, Eisenhower sets out to visit one of the most important formations of his army, the U.S. 101st Airborne Division. Alongside him is Britain's Prime Minister, Winston Churchill, accompanied by General Omar Bradley and a small staff group. Their destination, Greenham Common Airfield near Newbury, England, where the 101 ST's 502nd Parachute Infantry Regiment is assembling. The 101st Airborne is a new kind of unit, created for a new kind of war. They are America's elite paratroopers, trained to drop behind enemy lines hours before the main landings. Their mission in Operation Neptune, the assault phase of Overlord, is to secure the western flank of the invasion area, to capture bridges, cut German communications, and block reinforcements from reaching the beaches. Without them, the landings at Utah Beach could be isolated and destroyed. When the convoy carrying Eisenhower and Churchill reaches the airfield, the sight before them is unforgettable. Hundreds of C-47 transport aircraft line the grass runways, their wings painted with bold black and white invasion stripes. The ground is crowded with soldiers wearing camouflage face paint, helmets covered in netting and strips of burlap. They carry rifles, grenades, and bulky parachute packs that make them look twice their size. Every man knows he is hours away from the most dangerous night of his life. Churchill steps out first. He is 69 years old, walking with his characteristic determination, a cigar clamped between his fingers. He scans the scene, the young American soldiers, the planes, the noise, and his expression turns serious. He has seen war before, but never anything like this. Eisenhower joins him, his uniform simple, his cap pulled low. There is no pomp or ceremony here, only the quiet understanding of what is at stake. The weather has been the greatest uncertainty. Strong winds and thick clouds over the channel have delayed the invasion for a full day. But this morning, meteorologists reported a brief break, a window of calmer seas and clearer skies. If they wait longer, the tides and moonlight will no longer align, and secrecy could be lost. Eisenhower's decision to launch tonight is one of the most consequential of the entire war. As Churchill and Eisenhower walk down the line of paratroopers, cameras record their visit. The two leaders stop frequently to speak with the men. Eisenhower's tone is warm and informal. He asks where they're from, how they feel, whether they've eaten. He tells them to keep faith, that their mission will bring freedom back to Europe. Many of the soldiers smile, some laugh nervously, but all listen closely. The men know who Eisenhower is. They call him Ike, and his presence among them carries immense weight. In that moment, he is not just a commander, but the symbol of the entire Allied cause. Churchill speaks less. He observes more. He moves among the troops, sometimes joking, sometimes silent, taking in every detail. Later, he will write that the courage and confidence of these young Americans left a deep impression on him. Nearby, generals and staff officers discuss the final logistics. Aircraft are assigned their drop zones in Normandy, Saint-Mire-Église, Corentin, and the road networks beyond Utah Beach. Each group carries maps printed only days ago. Eisenhower inspects one of the gliders that will carry jeeps and small artillery pieces. Churchill climbs up to look inside, visibly fascinated by the lightweight wooden frame that will soon cross the channel. Someone offers him a chance to fly with them on the mission. Churchill laughs and says he'd like to go. But the British chief of the Imperial General Staff quickly intervenes. Absolutely not. The Prime Minister will remain in England. The meeting lasts less than an hour, but its effect is lasting. One of the most famous photographs of the war is taken here. Eisenhower leaning toward a group of paratroopers, smiling, gesturing with his hand. He is speaking to Lieutenant Wallace Strobel of the 502nd Regiment. That single image captures the calm before the storm. A leader sending his men into the greatest operation of modern times. By late afternoon, the visit is over. Churchill and Eisenhower depart the airfield as the soldiers make their final preparations. Inside the aircraft, the paratroopers attach static lines, check their parachutes, and wait for the order to board. Outside, the wind has shifted. The sky begins to clear. All signs point to go. At 22:30 hours, the engines start. One after another, the planes roll down the runway and lift into the night sky. The invasion of Europe has begun. Within hours, the men Eisenhower and Churchill spoke to will be landing in darkness, scattered across the hedgerows and fields of Normandy. Some will drop directly into enemy fire. Some will never see dawn. Back at headquarters in Portsmouth, Eisenhower waits in silence, smoking a cigarette. Churchill returns to London, unable to sleep. For both men, this night carries the weight of history. If the landings fail, the Allies could lose not just thousands of soldiers, but the hope of liberating Europe. If they succeed, it will mark the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. By the morning of June 6th, the first reports arrive. The paratroopers have landed. The beaches are under assault. The invasion is underway. Churchill and Eisenhower receive the news almost simultaneously. For a moment, neither speaks, only a nod, a quiet exhale, and the realization that there is no turning back now. In the days that follow, the 101st Airborne plays a crucial role in linking the beachheads and securing key positions inland. Their courage helps turn the tide of the war in Western Europe. And the visit by Churchill and Eisenhower, just hours before it all began, becomes a defining moment of leadership and unity. It was not a speech, nor a command, that inspired those men. It was the presence of two leaders who came to share their burden, if only for a moment, on the last night before history changed forever.